Welcome to Success Unlocked. Today, we're here with Maria. You've seen Maria here before. Maria is one of our wonderful clients. She's also a recent fellow here at AYG. And today we're going to have a conversation that we haven't had yet, Maria. And we haven't had a conversation quite like this. We might have done it once before, or I may have done it solo, where we actually go into some of the literature that we do, that we review, that we talk about, that we embody, that we absorb, that we become in the Success Society. And so let's talk together about, well, first we're going to introduce Maria for those of you who haven't met her. And then we're going to talk about the Success Society, and we're actually going to take a little dive, like I said, into some of the work that we actually do there. Because, I mean, it, for me, is the foundation of everything. I'm getting ahead of myself. Maria, introduce yourself to the people.
First off, I want to say thank you again for inviting me back on the podcast. I'm always so excited whenever I'm on here, so thank you. I guess a little introductory. Yeah, I'm Maria. I'm a recent fellow, which is crazy to think. I've been with AYG for just under 2 years now, which is so crazy to say, but so amazing. And I guess a little fun fact about me is I'm actually podcast connoisseur. I love listening to podcasts. I guess I'm a podcast addict, so you'll always catch me listening to a podcast, especially this one. But yeah, that's how I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm excited to be here, so thank you.
Beautiful. You've had many introductions already here, but let me fill them in a little bit more. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So Maria has graduated from McMaster University. She is headed to law school in September.
Yes.
She had many offers, and that is normal here. That is so normal here to have many offers and to have them be early. So Maria, for everybody here, and you've already been congratulated within our community, but congratulations again, because not just to get one offer, but to get several. And for me to be able to celebrate that with you when I was in Dominican, then I was somewhere else, and I'm getting all these messages from Maria because our clients here message me directly, because that is what I love when they get in. And Maria, I remember I was sitting in the airport and I'm like, oh, Maria, like, what is she saying? I think it was even like a weekend or something when I was flying back. And I was like, what's going on? And she's like, I got in. And I was like, yes, another one. And so Maria collected some acceptances, and she had a choice, and she still has a choice. I'm not going to make you say, we're not going to talk about your choices on the podcast. We can talk about that later. But Maria, how did it feel to go through the cycle, feel great? Because I know that, this is something that Maria has said outside of this podcast and even in other episodes where, Maria, you can tell everybody how you felt submitting and then how you felt receiving all of these acceptances.
Yeah, I mean, first time submitting, I obviously felt a little nervous because I've said this in a previous episode. I've applied twice. I've done 2 cycles. The first time I was nervous. The second time I felt confident. I felt like this was it. This was I didn't feel like I was doing a Hail Mary, but I felt like this was like the final product that really showcased who I was. It didn't feel rushed, which was a plus. And I remember receiving my first acceptance, and I'll always remember this moment. It was like 10 p.m. and I remember I sent you a message or an audio because I wanted you to know how excited I was.
Yes, you did.
And it was like 10 p.m. and I remember just like glancing at my email, and I saw like, oh, there's been an update on your application, and I was like, what the heck? And I saw you've been admitted. And I had to read it like 2 times. And then I remember screaming. And then my dad was in the living room and he was just like, well, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, is this an emergency? And I was like, no, I got into law school. And he was crying. We all started crying. My mom, she was running out of the shower. She getting ready for bed, and she was like, what happened? What happened? And then I told her, and she was just so excited. And it was such a heartfelt moment. And I was just like, this is it. Like, I'm finally going to law school in September. This is what I've worked for. I knew it. Instead of saying like, oh, what if they give it to me off of a whim? I said, I knew it. This was a long time coming. So I was very proud of myself. And then when I got my second, my third, and like, I had to decide now which law school to go to, I just felt like, what the heck? This was something beyond my wildest dreams, but it's my new reality, which is so great to say. And I'm so grateful to have this problem where I get to decide where I want to go, and being able to say like, now we need to prepare for law school, which is so exciting. So I felt elated. I felt proud. I felt not an ounce of like, this wasn't like, I didn't deserve this, or what if they just gave this to me because they felt bad? No, it was like, I earned this, and this is something I've been working for. So such an incredible experience. And it's such a high. I'm still living off of that high, but it's just such a amazing experience and emotion and feeling.
Yeah. So proud of you, because I remember, sitting down with you, sitting down with your mom, and talking you through the process and putting together the program for you, and just figuring it all out, and then sitting down with you during your sessions and going through all of that doubt.
Yes.
Right? Going through all that doubt, going through all of that uncertainty, that what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not what they're looking for? What if other people are better than me? What if I have nothing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally, just like full stop. What if I have nothing?
And it was from dusk to dawn, right? Like, our calls were like early in the morning, late at night. And yeah, like it is a lot of doubt that you start to develop. And it's really hard not to just like look at other people and be like, how can I get to where you are? Like, you've gotten accepted, I didn't. Feeling proud for them, but also feeling like a little bit worried for yourself and saying like, why aren't I there? But what I really liked about, especially in a lot of the TSS calls, there would be lots of times where people would say like, oh, I got in, or I submitted, or I got the score that I wanted. And they would celebrate their successes. And truly you would feel that like sense of proudness from the other clients. And even there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I wish that was me. It was more of like, thank God this person got in, because they are the new generation of lawyers, medical students, entrepreneurs, PhD students. Like, they're the next generation, and that's what's going to make the future bright. So I felt like that was such a crazy feeling, because it's like, yeah, you feel that genuine support by everyone. And you also don't feel that competition. There was never a time where I felt doubt, and that doubt was fed into because of the community. In fact, a lot of the people in the calls were very good at kind of helping you take yourself away from that doubt and kind of strip that out of your mind a little bit and be like, okay, this is the reality and this is the story. You're creating the story, but this is actually what's reality. And so, and that's what makes these like TSS calls so important, because if it weren't for that, I probably would be falling into a hole of doubt and fear and anxiety and not knowing where to go, essentially.
Right. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more let's talk about the experience of TSS, because maybe actually, I don't even know if I've ever shared this, of how TSS started.
Oh, I don't think I've heard about this.
I don't think I've ever shared. I don't think it's ever come up, really.
You got to share.
Yeah. So when I started doing applications in Starbucks when I was doing my PhD in 2014. That's when all this started. And then I was going through my own schooling at the same time, right? I was finishing my PhD. I was going into law school, and I had this really unique experience of being a student in law school on one of the hardest curves at Osgood.
Oh my God.
And then being a professor in the next building and creating a learning environment that was conducive to learning.
Right.
Where the curve was much different. And so I'm sitting in class being evaluated, and then I'm going to the next building and I'm evaluating.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine how weird that must feel.
It was like this.
Whiplash.
And I was, and then I'm going to the library and I'm being a student, but then I'm going next door and I'm a professor. And it was this like real double identity at the time. And it was 3 years that I was in law school and a professor at the same time. I'd been a professor before that anyway. And in all of the education that I've done at different institutions and at all of the universities that we've been to, where where I've guest lectured, where I've guest lectured and done conferences internationally on my own research. And being in these in some of the most sort of like high pressure environments for young people, so many things happened between the lines here. But ultimately what I realized was, getting in, and I had already been doing the admissions work at this point for, 6-7 years. Getting in gets us, to that next step in the building of the life that we love. For many of us, we need that acceptance to get in. You can't get in without getting acceptance, but we need that acceptance to then move on and create what it is that we want to do.
Yes.
Sometimes you need that grad degree. Sometimes you need that med degree. You need that dental. You need that vet. You need that naturopathic. You need the master's, the PhD, the MBA, the law school, whatever it is. You need those qualifications in order to be a professional, in order to be able to actually become licensed and practice.
Yeah.
So I was really in the middle of, my own high pressure environments. I had just defended my dissertation. I'm in my first year of law school, and I'm realizing I was sitting in orientation and all of this, looking around, being like, oh my God, everyone here is way smarter than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm a professor in the next building. I've done my undergrad, my master's, and my PhD. Now, let me be clear. Having degrees is not an indicator of someone's intelligence in many ways. But I thought, I've done so much. I deserve, I feel like I deserve to be here. I mean, I got in. But also I knew that everyone else also had what it took to get in. And then all of a sudden, when you think, and there was no ego around it, but it was a lot of can I cut it? Will I be able to do this?
Yeah. It's kind of you've proven yourself, right? You were I've done all of these accomplishments, right? But then it doesn't matter how many accomplishments you've done. There's sometimes you hear that little voice in your head just being but what if, even if it's smaller, it's not something you really feed into, but it's you could be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. I've met people like yourself that have accomplished so much, and they're kind of the Swiss Army knives of society. They have multiple talents and successes, but then there's still that little teeny weeny ounce of doubt, So I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And it even surprised me because I felt pretty good. I wasn't overconfident going into law school or anything. I wouldn't say that. And I said, there was no ego around it, but I felt okay, I've done enough school by this point. I'm good.
Yeah.
I've been on this campus for a while. I know how things go here. I work in the next building. And even still, we sat in the moot court at Osgood and I looked around and I was oh my God, these are 300 of some of the smartest people.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there and the dean at the time, who's now what is he? He's now, I believe, a superior court judge. He got up to the mic and he said, look to the left of you, look to the right of you. And I thought, oh, here we go. He's going to say what they told me in first year when I was in sciences before I switched. Look to the left of you, look to the right of you. One of you is not going to be here anymore. And I was like, oh, if he goes there, like, oh, that would just be so like, and I was expecting to hear that. So in my mind, this is what I'm playing is like, I've already heard this before. And instead what he said was, look to the left of you, look to the right of you. One is going to be a judge. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And that is actually the, I would say the inspiration of what I say all the time, which is your competition is not your competition. Your competition is your future colleagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Don't look at these people as competition. Look at them as your peers. Look at them as people you're going to go to court with or be in the hospital with or whatever it is, or be in grad school with or be, co-teaching a course with one day or whatever the case may be. Like, these are your colleagues. And that really flipped something for me because I had always thought of everyone around me as competition, even if I wasn't actually competing with them. Like, even if there was no curve, even if there was no something, there was always that just air of competition because that's so common in universities across academia at every age and stage. Doesn't matter if you're in first year or if you're, like a tenured professor. There's something there, whether it's like who gets the grant or who gets this or who gets that. There's always something.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter where you are in life, you're always going to be told like, that could be your place, that could be your position, someone else could take that from you. And then you're kind of pressured to compare yourself to other people. And, it sucks because you never know. It's kind of like what you said before, like the person that you would see as competition might be your biggest supporter in the future. They might call you in for something and say like, you have expertise on this, or I need your support on this. I need you to come in. Or if you're in need of like support and you find them somewhere, they're going to be there. But you wouldn't realize that until you kind of take away that like societal pressures of like not seeing everyone as competition, right? Except seeing like yourself in terms of how you're going to grow and like not competing with yourself, but kind of finding ways to kind of elevate yourself instead of elevating so that you seem better than other people around you, which I don't think is the way to go because you're not elevating for your growth. You're elevating for someone else's image of what growth looks like, which might not help you. So yeah, but it's crazy to think. It's really weird to think. And I know that law school is going to have that. And I know in undergrad I had that. And you saying that, it just shows that, it's something that so many people experience no matter what. And it sucks a little bit. It really does.
Yeah. And so that was one thing that really inspired me to move in the direction of mindset together with peak performance here. And then the other thing was the really prevalent substance use that I saw across academia.
Yes.
And this isn't just at one university. This is across borders. Mm-hmm. This is across programs. And it was a subject of much of my research throughout grad school and even beyond. As a drug policy researcher, I don't know if anybody knows that. That's my research area. And so when I would be, like sitting in libraries, and I spent a lot of time in Starbucks, as we all know. So this didn't actually happen to be in Starbucks, but when I spent time sitting in various libraries, when I spent time visiting other universities and sitting in libraries and looking really studious, I was offered drugs in libraries where you're just looking for somewhere quiet to work.
Yeah.
And you hear about it with your peers. You hear about it like people are not shy to talk about medication use, self-medicating with medications that may not be theirs. Mm-hmm. And and also feeling the pressure of having to get some kind of diagnosis, which they may actually not need, or they may, but I'm not talking about the cases where they actually do, because I've seen more than enough of where people actually don't, but they feel the pressure and they think everybody else is, because everybody else is saying that they do. Then they go and they seek out some sort of substance, whether it's prescription or otherwise, and they begin to rely on them, and they face side effects. They face really harsh effects of it. Many things that I have seen people put into their bodies. And it doesn't actually stop in school. Like, these habits are continued into the professional world. Mm-hmm. So when I tried as an academic to bring this to the attention of people who were in a position to do something about it, they basically said, not my problem.
Oh, goodness.
And I thought, like, and I formally raised it.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing it. I mean, I won't get into like the exact examples of things that happened, because I don't think this is the right forum for that. But I saw a lot, and I thought, this is just not how it has to be. Like, people work so hard to get here, and then you get here and you're faced with this kind of pressure and some of it's not even true. Like, people are not taking, in many cases, what they say they're taking, or people are not, or people are saying things. I mean, I've heard some ridiculous things, and I've at times been outspoken about it in the moment, which has made some people feel, not comfortable in the moment, because I'm calling them out. I'm like, that's not true. You don't do that.
Yes.
And in this case, it was one person who was significantly older than, there were a couple people in I'm not going to be specific, in a professional school. And I was sitting around with them. And this older person who I knew, who was also a student there, said, yeah, I do this and I do that. And I literally, in front of all, because they were young, like, these people were in first year out of university. So first year of professional school, out of undergrad. So they're like 22, right? And this person is like maybe like in their like high 20s, like late 20s, maybe early 30s. And they were like, yeah, I do this. And I just looked at them in front of all of these young people, and I said, no, you don't. Like, why would you say that? Because now they're all, and I went through this whole thing because it just popped out of my mouth. I couldn't even do anything about it. This is years ago. And I was like, no, you don't. And he was like, oh. And I like caught him totally off guard, because I've now like outed the lie.
Yeah.
And all of these, 22-year-olds who are in their first year in this professional program are like, what? Like, why would he say that? And I said, like, don't make them think that they can't do this themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need this. You don't need these substances to get you through. At the time, the substance he was talking about was not even legal. And I was like,
even worse, right?
It's just, so I've seen so much crap.
Yeah.
And then I would go teach. And so then this really actually affected my teaching style, where I started, I think, I've always had like a teaching style that resonates. But I think that I then made more of an aware effort to create a different environment within my classrooms, where students wouldn't feel in competition with each other.
Okay. So that's where you see the non-competition in AYG.
So then I started, so I'm doing applications this whole time. And then I start doing MAA, Mastering Academic Applications. And I started that program. And then I'm in our Wednesday calls, I always deal with mindset anyway. Because it always just comes up. It is everywhere.
Yeah.
In everything, in every decision. So then I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? Executives of massive corporations have corporations that will pay for executive coaching and mindset work.
Yeah.
Why not students?
Yeah.
Like, why not students? And then I thought, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like
100%.
I'll do it. Why? Like there's literally no one else doing this. I'll do it. And of course, I've had my own coaching and I still have my own coaching. I think anybody great always has their own coach. Like professional athletes, you have your own coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is always growth. There was always increase. And so when I realized that, I was like, okay, we're going to add another coaching call and everyone's going to be in it. This will be a program that everyone is in. And we've had different iterations of the programs and how they've been structured and everything. But TSS on Tuesdays has always been, since that point, accessible to everybody in our community.
Yeah.
It's included in your programs for a certain number of months, and then we roll you into the membership at a lower rate. As compared to the regular rate for somebody who's not in a program. And I think that the Success Society has really become this place of getting to know yourself, getting to know the real foundations of who you are, who you're building, and who you're becoming.
Absolutely.
And we do it all with literature and mindset. And I know that it has prevented people from giving into peer pressure. I know that it has prevented our clients and our members from falling into the trap of comparisonitis because you're able to think for yourself outside of all of the noise.
100%.
So, Maria, what has been your experience in the Success Society for so long?
Oh, I do want to say really quick though, thank you for sharing. I feel like this is something that a lot of people should know because it just shows that everything has been built with such love and intention. And a lot of big corporations that do applications and stuff like that don't have that. So the fact that I was able to hear this for the first time, which is crazy to think, because I knew it started in the Starbucks, but I didn't know the exact foundations that started TSS, just makes this experience even more rewarding and just so much better, if that makes sense. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that. And thank you for telling people, because I know that's going to create a lot of warmth and a lot of comfort knowing that this program is being built like that. So yeah. And I would say my experience with TSS, it's been a roller coaster, I will say. There would be times where I would feel uncomfortable because I was oh, yeah, maybe I am the problem in the situation where I'm putting obstacles for myself. And then there would be other times where I'm warm and fuzzy because I'm we all worked through something together, right? Cape Cod Catherine, I know she was on an episode, but being there and seeing her doing her visualization and seeing what future Catherine looks like and what they're doing, and from the fine detail of what kind of flowers are going to be in your kitchen, or what kind of food are you eating in the morning? Is it multi-grain bread or is it white bread? Being so fine-tuned with the details. I know that a lot of us were oh my gosh, this is getting tense in the best way possible, because you can tell that Catherine's like, what's going on? And Adrienne's like, just trust me, just do it. Like, engage with it, trust me. And we're all like, oh my gosh. And then seeing all of us kind of have that realization of like, this is what it's like to think in terms of in the shoes of your future self. And this is what it takes to elevate yourself, right? You can't be stuck on where you are right now. You got to think, because where you are right now has a lot of pressures that a lot of what your future self does not care for. So being able to put yourself into those shoes takes you out of it. And I remember almost crying in one of the calls, because a lot of what you were telling me and a lot of the people on the calls were, just loosen the grip and just, let things go, right? And just like ride the wave, and you've done the work, right? And I remember feeling so emotional because I was like putting too much pressure on myself, and I just needed someone to just say like, you're doing the work, you're just loosen the grip. It was just like, okay, I needed to hear that. And it made me realize, okay, I'm creating a story and you're grounding me back in reality, So, that's to say, like, my entire experience with TSS has been so fulfilling, even though I've had different emotions, but it was never something where I was like, this is wasting my time, or that this is something that didn't help me, So, and there would be other times where I'd be shook. I'd sit there for 5, 10, 30, an hour, just like sitting there and being like, what the heck just happened? But like thinking about everything that was said in TSS, and it was just so many great things. And I'm just like, wow, let me just write this on a sticky note. Let me just write this in my journal. Let me just like remember this, because it's such an important message and such an important thing to say and to think and to have that in the forefront of my thoughts. But it's just a wide range of things.
Yeah. And so when you're in that moment, I think part of what is so amazing about it is that it's always from a place of exploration, right? Exploration and curiosity of like, okay, who am I? Who am I really? Like, what more is there to me? What am I not seeing? More. There's always more. What am I not seeing?
Literally.
What am I discovering? Mm-hmm. And as you become the person you want to be, and that you are being and that you're becoming, those people think differently. The people who we're becoming, the future Maria thinks differently than present Maria.
Yes.
And Cape Cod future Catherine thinks differently than current Catherine. And, and that, can you believe it? I think that call was like a year ago.
It was, but it stuck.
It stuck with everybody.
Literally everyone.
It stuck with everybody. And I remember it in such detail. And I, what's the right word? It was a real in the moment invitation to challenge herself.
Yes, it was raw.
To think bigger. It was very raw, and it was unexpected. Nobody ever really knows where the calls are going to go. Like, there's always also that like surprise factor of like, what's going to happen on today's call? What's Adrienne going to say? What are we going to read? Who's going to have some big realization? Like, there's always that. I think it's like a wow factor.
Yeah.
In TSS. And the thing is, we see Catherine now in coaching a year later, and she has, just like all of our members have, and Maria, what you've done in TSS, who you've become on the way to who you're becoming, you're a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we all become different people, but like elevated,
Elevated. That's why our shirts say elevate. Our swag says elevated.
Yeah, literally. There's an intention to everything, but it's just like we all see each other a year later or even a month later. I feel like there are so many shifts that happen, and we're just like, look at you, look at me, look at us. Like, I can't recognize us as we were like a month ago, but this is incredible, right?
And that's the thing, when you start, and then when you go into your program, no one can shake you.
No.
Nothing can shake you. And that's my goal, is that when and our members stay in TSS through their programs after they're accepted, they stay in our community, they stay with us, they stay with coaching, and no one can shake you, and you won't give in to any of the pressure, because for you, that pressure doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's kind of like every time we do like TSS stuff and mindset work, you're kind of helping us create the roots to who we are. Because they're not like leaves. They're not branches. Because leaves, they like fly away seasonally. Like they change quite often. Branches, they're more sturdy, but they break after like natural disasters or when things are too crazy. But the roots are always what stays, you know? And they are what grounds the entire plant. So that's how I see TSS, essentially. You're helping us create these roots that expand, and they help keep us grounded. And they become reminders of like what we've built as people, how we grew. And whenever we get knocked down, we still have those reminders to kind of help us rejuvenate again into like a new plant, I guess you can say.
It's not that trees don't blow from side to side. It's that the roots stay fixed.
Exactly. And that's just what grounds them, regardless of the situation, right? Which is like mind-blowing. But I'm so glad I joined AYG. And this isn't like scripted or anything, obviously. But the TSS stuff and the mindset work is just an added layer of something that a lot of people don't give it enough attention to.
Or any.
Exactly. And even when I first joined it, I was like, how important can this be? And so when I went into my first call, I'm like, oh yeah, it is pretty important, because I feel like my brain is shifting every time I join a call. And even now, I'm still like rereading the notes that I took at previous TSS calls. And I'm still like reflecting on a lot of them, because you see things differently from when you first wrote them. And they still are very much prominent. And there's things I still need to hear to this day, you know, and they're relevant to this day. So it's super cool work. And I feel like everyone needs to like at least like dig into it a little bit more, because I feel like if you don't, you're not going to get to a place where you feel like you're not going to be shaken.
Yeah. I think it's essential. It really is essential. It's our favorite call of the week.
It's definitely my favorite call. And I like that it's at the beginning of the week, because it sets you up for the rest of the week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's at the beginning of the week. It's on Tuesdays at noon. You get the replay. You can listen back to calls as well.
Yes.
And it's a very special place.
Absolutely.
Because we show up, we read together, we hear about what's going on with each other, and we work through things that feel unrelated to our success, that feel unrelated to our applications, that feel unrelated to our tests or whatever. But actually, when we look deeper, they're actually holding us back.
Yes. And I feel like it has helped a lot of people kind of open up a little bit more and really trust the process and really engage with everything, right? Because I know it can be scary to kind of talk about your problems, or at least say like, this is what's bothering me at the moment, and this is what's preventing me from getting to where I want to be, and having other people on the call with you. But truly, like the way that TSS is being done is like everyone is just so open to being raw and like authentic, and really be like open to say like, this is what's happening with me, this is how I feel about it, and then having all of us be there to like help maneuver through that, and to do that in a way where we're all kind of changing the way we see things, and we're kind of building on our mindset. And like all the readings that you've done in every TSS call, like I remember like always taking note of every title that you like said. Like you would say, oh, this is from U Square, and like here's the chapter that we're going to read, and I would write that immediately. And I feel like a lot of people do, because they want to engage more with that kind of reading. I'm actually going to go buy a bunch of new books that you recommended last week. So it's one of those things where, you know, everyone just feels like it helps them in so many meaningful ways. And what's also kind of crazy about this entire experience, and I think it's kind of scary, I guess, at times, is that every time we all jump on a TSS call, people hear exactly what they need to hear in that moment. And it's like out of context. Like, you don't know what we're going through unless we tell you, of course. But you just go on to like tell us a reading and we're all like, how did she know? Like, you know, how did she know that this is what we needed to hear? And so, yeah, and everyone has experienced different things, but it all applies in the same way, which it's mind-blowing, but it's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all true. Everything Maria said is true.
It is. It is.
And it's partly that, you know, I was where you are. And I experienced all those things. And I'm it's a lot of also very intuitive work because I get to know you guys.
Yeah, I really get to know her
3 times a week. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm hearing updates and what's going on, I'm like, okay, I know where to go. And sometimes, but you're totally right. And sometimes I will just pick up a book and be like, random page, here is where we're starting. And it is, so we play with it too, which is fun, which is really fun.
Yeah. And it just happens organically, which is like, which makes it, you know, like so impactful. And I actually do have like a TSS journal, right? And I actually have it right here. Like right here, my TSS journal, all my notes from TSS since the very beginning. And I remember I would have like little comments on the side being like, woo, goosebumps. Oh, this is what I needed to hear. Or like, how did she know? Or, you know, I would reflect a little bit after the call and be like, how did I feel afterwards? And I'd be like, I feel better. Like, I feel like I'm able to overcome this. And I feel like, you know, things are going to be okay. Right?
Yeah.
So,
and they are so exactly as you create them.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just talking about it, warm and fuzzy inside already.
I know. I already can't wait for Tuesday. But you know what, Maria? We have to get to MTP right now.
That's true.
I'll see you in coaching in 1 minute. Thank you to everybody who has listened to this episode. If you want to know more about the Success Society, please send me a DM at Apply Yourself Global on Instagram. Email me, Adrienne at applyyourselfglobal.com, and me and my team would absolutely love to talk to you. It is actually possible to enroll in the Success Society, just those Tuesday calls independently of anything else. And so, and we also included in every single one of our programs, mastering academic applications, mastering test prep for your LSAT, MCAT, DAT, Limitless, Fast Track. It's included in everything. So if you're interested in learning more, becoming part of the Success Society, and really laying those roots for yourself so no one can shake you, this is the place for you. Thank you, Maria.
Do it, guys. Do it. No, thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure yet again.
And we'll do more. We will do more together. Okay. Thank you. And we will see you next week.